Hey, Granny's Creator here, and welcome to our first installment of Maker's Monday. First, I'm going to start with this introduction of how this is going to work, and then I'll move into a layout of the space. I've written up a list of different behind-the-scenes content that you guys have asked for across the various platforms, and then included some of my own. We're going to go ahead and roll these dice to determine which ones will go over some weeks, and in true goblin fashion, we will be mixing it up occasionally. I know that some weeks I'm going to have some builds, so I'll likely be showcasing those on those weeks, if any of that makes sense. All right, now let's just do a quick little tour of the space. This whole thing is a workbench that was left over from the previous owner. I promise it's clean. It's just probably 70 years old. I've considered going through the process of stripping everything of its paint and then redoing all the cabinets, yada, yada, yada. But I'm really the only one that interacts with them, and it being an older house, this is lower on the priority list. Over here is where I work on the props and things like that. Right now, I actually have some props that I'm also working on upstairs. I usually do sewing things up there. Right here, we have the Frogmires that I'm working on. I did like the finger puppet. It was great, but it just doesn't have the versatility and mobility that I'm looking for. So I'm in the process of doing a marionette puppet-styled Frogmire. And then because I'd be replacing Frogmire in all of the scenes with Granny, I realized that I was also going to have to replace Frogmire for Frogmire's philosophies. You know, that series really doesn't tend to do well, honestly, on this page, but it brings me a lot of joy, so he stays. This is also where I do all of the voiceover bits. Usually when I'm filming Granny, I'm doing laundry, and that can get pretty loud. My husband got me this setup to hopefully combat that. This section is Granny's Cottage. Last week I posted this. Would offer up like a crafts or supply list, but I really couldn't tell you where I've gotten most of this shit over the years. I am an ADHD riddled theater kid, so it's a mixture of hyperfixations and like work. So let me just go through the things that I did purchase specifically for Granny. Granny's head, I used a basic puppet and altered the hell out of it. I had initially found this one in a thrift store that was going to be Granny, but that one was clearly cursed. So when it came time to restart, I had my heart and mind set on avoiding the drafting math and the toxic glue that comes from gluing foam together. So I just went ahead and ordered this one. Let's see. I also bought the glasses. Those are like some basic American Girl doll glasses that I broke the arms off of and added this chain that I already had. On the interior, there's a section of 2 to 3 inch long, 2 inch wide PVC pipe. And there is a dowel I purchased that's about 1 inch also on the internal structure. Let's see. I bought the LED candles that are up here, usually in these little votives. And Frogmire and his rocking chair was purchased, as well as the 3D sculpts that are underneath the foam clay ones here. I recently upgraded from the scarf that I was using as a rug to an actual rug. I do want to go back and loop yarn around the edges for the little ties. I'm really missing that detail from the original one. But yeah, this shelf over here, I already had, it came with the house. And most of the stuff on it is stuff that I already had / made for Granny recently. I did have to do a refresh of my foam clay stock, for the horn, for the cookies that were over there, Frogmire, the mandrake root, and the rest of this stuff is horrifyingly hoarded craft supplies. So yeah, totally don't throw out your stashes. You might actually use them. At some point, I'm going to either get some plywood or some boards and make a wall here. I really want a place for Granny's fan art. I feel like Granny would hang stuff on her refrigerator if she had one, so a small gallery wall just makes sense to me. Just to be super, super clear, this isn't me asking anyone to make fan art or an attempt to get free Granny art. I'm an artist. I would never expect or ask for free art. People have just already made some and have requested to make some, and my genuine reaction was, well, Granny's going to want to put this somewhere. Over here is the current OSHA classroom setup. At some point, I'm going to sand down and refinish this bench, aka her floors, and get some actual posters printed. I just had the blue felt laying around. That's actually why they're all slightly different shades of blue there. Next, we have this section, which will eventually be our astrology section. Right now, I'm working on this canvas that came in a pack of 2 where I only used one, and this one's been sitting with a base coat on it for a while now. The other day, I decided that I'm going to go ahead and turn it into a blue screen for the horoscope segment. It's a work in progress at the moment. I have been using this blanket for most of the blue screen kind of stuff. The way that it drapes and its texture has made it a workable nightmare at the moment. I'm going to build her a little observatory with one of the house expansions. If you've been following along, I've expanded the house with every milestone I hit with followers. Thanks for letting me info dump on you. If you have any suggestions or other things you would like to add to that list that I showed you right here, let me know and I'll go ahead and put them up. So I guess until next Makers Monday, Granny and I will be hanging out in our cottage.